to another episode of Investors Playbook. This is Deshaun. As always, you have me and my co-host, Cornell. Today, man, we got a double header. I think this is going to be a good episode because 2026 is here. We already got the first episode out the way. And now we are diving straight into what 2026 outlook is going to look like. And currently, Donald Trump has already made some big announcements for this year. The first one, which was quite recent, which would, I'm sure, rocked a lot of people and people probably posting it, was the idea to cap credit card interest rates at 10%. Imagine. And the second is preventing big businesses from buying so many of the single family homes. Because as we know right now, it's kind of difficult to get into a house. So we got those two topics coming at you. Stay tuned. Going to be some good information, our opinions on what we think. Of course, we always got to say we are not crystal ball seekers. We don't know what's going to happen. We are simply delivering information to you all. So we hope that you all take this, do your own research. But yeah, man, let's get it cracking, Cornell. First things first, what is it that you heard in regards to the 10% credit card cap that Trump is talking about?
I don't know if it's going to become official, but he is proposing there be a 10% cap. And this is speculated to lower interest costs for consumers and make things more affordable, especially in rough economic times. People are all over are struggling, of course, with rent rising. There hasn't been a whole lot of relief with housing, and yeah, interest rates are still high. Even though we did have some interest rate cuts in the previous year and we're expecting more this year. So yeah, interest rates at 10%, which I think could be good for a lot of people. Will everybody take advantage of that? I think that's the real question. But what are your thoughts when it comes to that?
And we're talking about this happening on January 20th. That's the date that Trump proposed, by the way. So keep an eye out for that. But essentially, if you're talking about lowering the credit card interest rate, that's normally at 20%, sometimes even up to 30% to 10%. I think that that would have a crazy ripple effect. I don't know exactly how that would make the credit cards businesses react, if they are going to lower the amount of credit available for people with the credit card, if they're going to take away some of the perks because they're not getting paid anymore. Like, credit cards make money off of people paying interest. You feel me? That's one of the biggest cash cows for them, is people holding a balance and paying 25% on that balance. And imagine someone having $10,000 on a credit card, and after a year they've paid 25%. That's over $2,000 just in interest, just because you borrowed money. So I think that that would definitely rock the financial industry. I do feel like there are going to be people that push back. Of course, the credit card people are going to push back, and a lot of financial um, experts are saying that this is a bad idea, right? And I'll even lead with saying this is not law. This is not something that's official. I feel like this is something that Trump is definitely preaching to get people on his side, right? He wants people to rally behind him. And who wouldn't rally behind a 10%? Like, what normal, consumer, um, everyday Joe Schmo wouldn't rally behind a 10% credit card interest rate, especially if they have credit card debt, right? It sounds like a grand idea. Go ahead.
You kind of look on the back end of it. It's like, what's going to happen to the reward points? Because they're I'm sure that they're divvying out a percentage of what they're making in reward points. That's why we're able to get like our flight miles or our cash back. and things of that nature. So if they're making less from people that are using credit cards, will there be less incentives for people to use them?
A year too, right? He's not saying indefinitely. He's saying for 1 year, 10% interest rates. How will affect credit cards making money? I mean, I don't even know. That's never been done before, right? I don't well, in the history of us living, normally credit cards are around that 20% interest. So I don't know what or how much money would be lost, but I imagine it'll affect that in some way. I think more importantly, it'll probably affect the amount that people can borrow. I think people will be like, I think credit card companies are going to be like, we're not making money on 10%, so we're going to lower the amount of interest. I mean, the amount of money that we want to allow people to borrow. Um, and if I'm being completely honest, I feel like it could end up being something like a trap for people who don't really know how to manage their finances because you've seen deals, credit cards saying 0% interest APR or 0% for 12 months, 0% interest for 18 months. People do that and they still pay interest eventually because they don't pay the card off or they carry the balance over past the year and a half. So it don't even matter. They get a year of grace, but because that 0% looks so good and they're paying the minimum balance over and over again throughout a whole year, they keep the balance up. And then by the end of the year, now they got a $10,000 balance with a 20% interest because they had well, they had intentions on paying the card off. Everyone says, I'll pay the card off before the year is over. Doesn't happen. And then life happens. Exactly. So I think that if people don't navigate this correctly, let's say it does get put into effect, people don't navigate it, people can be in a worse off position in 2027. You feel me? Potentially. So yeah, man. I think that exactly. Mm.
All be a trap.
Don't allow a news headline or a major shift to just make you change your plan drastically, right? Think through it before you decide to, ball out on anything in any direction. Let's say you get a large flush of money, just make sure that you are making sense of it. But yeah, I think it'll be definitely one that'll rock 2026 if that does happen. And honestly, I think this is kind of positioning this year to be one that is going to be one. I mean, I don't know. I feel like 2026 is going to be one for the books, bro. I imagine that Trump is putting a lot of these calls in play to one again, like I said, get people to rally behind him. But I also think he wants to rally the market. He wants to put cash in people's hands so that they can invest it. When you're talking about lowering interest rates, when you're talking about making it cheaper to borrow money, when you're talking about lowering credit card interest rates, when you're talking about, which is the next topic, making housing more affordable, when you're talking about giving veterans $1,776, when you're just talking about making people have more cash that they can use to spend. I feel like one of those goals, yes, is to get people ahead because stuff is trying. I mean, stuff is tough right now, right? But I think also he wants to, yeah, he wants to revive the economy. He wants to kind of get those gears rolling again. And I think part of that would be people putting into the stock market. Because think of how much the stock market moved in 2020 when people were getting random flushes of money. I feel like that's the year that a lot of people started investing because they had extra money to invest, you know? So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. So I think this one is big because I feel like it's never a time. If you ask the wrong person, it's never a good time to buy a home. The interest rates are too high, homes are too expensive. Um, Investing in the stock market might be better. There's always something wrong with the price of homes, the interest on homes that will prevent people from buying homes, right? So, with what Trump is doing and what he's proposing is that he is going to block big businesses from purchasing homes. His goal is to allow the the consumer or the regular individual to be able to purchase homes, preventing a lot of, you know, inflationary prices, blocking people out. So yeah, Trump's plan is to, in essence, stop big businesses from doing this massive purchase of homes so that you can have regular people getting into a home at an affordable price, not a home that was bought for 30,000, flipped and sold for, I said 30, 300,000, flipped and sold for 500,000, right? We want to avoid that kind of stuff. But yeah, Cornell, what are your thoughts on that one, bro?
Like I think he makes a lot of choices that are questionable. But as far as this one, I I think that that would be good. I think that would be good. I see too many issues. I First off, I think that people being able to hoard shelter is insane in its own. Like that's crazy. Like people need places to live, and you got these big businesses full of wealthy people just buying shelter up, and it's inflating the prices of homes. And then interest rates are already high, so people already have to pay a lot. And then now there's an even bigger barrier for people to afford shelter. And as mortgages go up, rent goes up, and rent is extreme. Now people are paying $2,000 for one bedrooms in Atlanta, and I'm sure it's worse in Cali. So I think that this needs to happen. To be honest, I don't think that investors, big businesses, should be able to hoard shelter. I think that's insane.
Is roughly 1%, which I think is interesting. Um, so if this does go into effect, we'll have to see the actual changes that it makes, right? Is it that big businesses are the ones that are, preventing people from getting these homes? Um, or is it that homeowners are increasing their prices or trying to get, like a regular homeowner is also trying to sell their home for a higher price. But I think that either way, it's a move in a positive direction. It definitely resonates with a lot of first time home buyers, I imagine, because they hear it and they're like, yeah, big businesses don't need to be buying homes, which, yeah, or not buying homes as much, blocking them, preventing them from, like you said, hoarding, which is wow, to be able to force someone to pay more money because you have the money to buy and pretty much say, all right, now you can't get it unless you pay the price that I say. So yeah, man, I think that that's gonna be another way for people to rally behind Trump and his position on making life more affordable for Americans. So we got housing more affordable, and we have the reduction of credit card interest rates potentially. All this is potential. I want to reiterate that this is all potential. Okay. Um, mhm.
Last year, people are coming into elementary schools, taking kids, things of that nature. And now he's like, okay, you know what? I do care about y'all a little bit. I, Yeah, actually, like I'll help you out with your credit cards. I help you with homes. I got you. Yeah. It's like what's really going on? So could this be a tactic to for a favorable midterm election, or do you feel like this is something genuine?
Genuine in the fact that this has been a narrative for Trump for a while, right? He's been wanting to cut interest rates since his first term. He has been wanting to cut interest rates since his first term. He would say things like, "I don't understand why our interest rates are so high. We're America. Why are our interest rates so high?" And Jerome Powell, right? But Jerome Powell and the Fed, they always kind of blocked him. But this year, this is Jerome Powell's last year being Fed chair. So I think like sometime in May, I feel like is when that shifts. And that's when I think things are gonna accelerate in a crazy way. Like with the replacement of the Fed chair, with Trump starting the year with affordability in a number of ways, credit card interest rates, affordability on homes, giving money to taxpayers. Um, it is cranking. It's like pulling the rubber band back on what I think is going to be a wild year for the stock market, the economy. So to answer your question, I do think that it is a mix of both. I think it's actually how he feels as far as wanting to lower the interest rates, but I also think he's doing it because he wants people to rally behind him, which that's what all politicians do, right? They're not gonna say something to make people hate them because they need the votes. It's hard for any president or any person in power in America to just do something on their own. They have to have the backing of not just. I mean, they have to be favorable, but then also have the backing. Look, for some people, I guess we got those exceptions. I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Put into place. Um, yeah, he pardoned the 1,200 that stormed the Capitol. I I don't know, man. I used to think that. I used to think. I know that there was a time period where people were like, "Oh, presidents don't have that much power. It's really uh, everything else, like all the other seats, like the senators and the in the House. Like it's I don't know, but I feel like he's able to do too much. Yes, later on, a lawsuit is put in place. It goes through courts, but how long does it take for that to happen? Like even with the tariffs, he can go back and forth. Like he's able to change the tariffs with a snap of his finger. So it's just I don't know, man. I feel like he has a lot of power.
Far as like just bringing down the hammer. Um, and like you also said, we live in a social media world. So even if something doesn't like push or get put into law, the words are out there and people react to the words. You feel me? I just read that when he said he was going to prevent big businesses from buying homes, the stock market was literally affected that day, right? Stocks that are or companies that are doing that exact thing, purchasing real estate, went down. So, regardless of if this does happen or not, and I kind of want to look and see what how credit card companies were affected when that news came out. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out and see if him saying I want to reduce credit card interest rates to 10%, if that actually affected things like Amex and City, like the banks and the credit card companies. Because regardless of if it happens or not, you putting the energy out there, you putting the words out there is creating pre-ripple effects before the thing is even put in place. So you're right, man. And outside of the things he says legally, he has definitely caused some massive waves, which what seem like things that he's doing on his own, right? Because we're seeing a lot of people not agree with what he's doing, but it still happens. So, right.
It's impossible. Anything that you put in place, someone's gonna hate it. And I was just about to say, and you know this with being in leadership roles, in multiple things. Like it's just you can't please everybody. And if you please everybody, you lying to somebody because it's not possible. It's not possible. So
A country like America, where you pretty much have two different sides all the time, Democrats and Republicans. They're probably not going to agree on most things. So the president can't be both. He can't be a Democrat and a Republican, you know? So that already puts you upsetting about half of Congress, half of the House. So half of America, you feel me? Half of America. Because pretty much half of the people are like, we don't agree with what you're doing. The other half is like, we got your back. So yeah, that's how it is here. But man, we definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. I think this was a really good episode. Make sure that you all are just watching what happens. We want to make sure that you are paying attention to anything that's happening in the news, anything that's happening that could be affecting your finances, right? Anything that could be affecting your pockets. And housing affordability and credit cards, I feel like that affects a lot of people, a lot of adults, if not every adult, right? Who doesn't want to own a home? Who doesn't have a credit card? Um, so yeah, continue to pay attention to what's happening. We hope that you all are having a wonderful 2026 so far. It's very early in the year. What are some of those goals that you all want to hit? Um, if any of them revolve investing, hit us up, join the Discord. We're gonna push that link out before the month is over. We really want to get people on the right track, get them off the sidelines, and get them started with their investing journey, and not just investing, but their financial journey. You know, so their freedom journey. There you go. Appreciate that, brother. It's been 1 year. It's been a long time, my guy. And it's been great. No, I'm just playing. It's been wonderful, bro. It's been wonderful, man. It's been a beautiful year for sure. But no, I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all. Like we're gonna catch y'all next week.
all right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.